Get ready to witness incredible feats of strength. These are the 20 strongest women in the world, breaking records, lifting men, and pushing the limits of human power. From champion weightlifters to extreme athletes, their unbelievable strength will leave you speechless. Stay tuned, you won't believe what these women can do. Donna Moore. Being named the world's strongest woman even once is quite remarkable, but imagine winning that title not once, twice, or even 3 times, but 6 different times. Well, let me introduce you to Donna Moore from England, who has exactly 6 of those titles, among many others. Her career began in the 2010s, and her beginnings were rather humble, with her first forays into fitness involving simple aerobics at her local gym. But of course, that wouldn't last long. After a couple of years in the fitness world, she discovered the competitive side of it and fell completely in love with the competitions. Between 2016 and 2019, she claimed first place in 6 different competitions, including the World's Strongest Woman, Arnold Amateur Strongwoman World Championships, and Arnold Pro Strongwoman, some of the most prestigious strength and endurance contests. Donna also set several records in specific strength sports, such as Atlas Stones, a challenging event where competitors lift round stones weighing up to 251 pounds. And as if that weren't enough, she also broke the record in the Dinnie Stones, a Scottish strength event where competitors lift incredibly heavy stones with metal rings. Now that's strength. Gabby Dixon. What we're seeing here is one of the world's most challenging strength tests, the Hercules hold. In this tough challenge, you must hold up 2 massive columns that are leaning in opposite directions. Once you start, the only thing preventing the columns from falling is your muscles and the strength you can exert, making it the ultimate test of strength for anyone. And perhaps the most important part of the challenge is that it relies more on technique, so it's generally open to both men and women. And now for the challenger, meet Gabby Dixon. In 2022, she became the undisputed champion of the Hercules hold. And when I say champion, I don't mean just the top of the female division. She was the champion, period. Her strength was such that she faced male challengers under the same conditions and defeated all but one, holding the grip for 1 minute, 8 seconds, and 62 milliseconds, setting the female record for this challenge. And perhaps the most impressive part is that it was Gabby's first time facing the challenge, so she didn't have as much experience as the other competitors. Some might say it was beginner's luck, but I believe it's more about innate skill. What do you think? Gina Carano. Throughout film history, many talented actresses have played tough women. But in this case, it happened the other way around, with a tough woman becoming a Hollywood actress. This is the extraordinary and impressive story of Gina Carano. Gina didn't start her career as an actress or a Hollywood star. Instead, she rose to fame in the ring, and not just any ring, but as a Muay Thai fighter, one of the most brutal combat sports. To give you an idea, getting your nose broken is not unusual in this sport, as kicks and elbows are allowed. From those brutal beginnings, she continued her career in mixed martial arts, MMA, where she became famous for her spectacular fights, whether through flashy moves or surprisingly fast knockouts. Her impressive fights earned her a few minor roles in action films, which helped establish her acting skills, particularly in the action genre. Gina had the physical aptitude to endure the shoots and even perform her own stunts. And the rest is history, a testament that sometimes stars can come from anywhere, even from the ring. Li Wenwen. Strength can manifest in many ways, but perhaps one of the most classic in the sports world is Olympic weightlifting. And, if we measure strength in that aspect, she would be the strongest woman in the world. Let me introduce you to Li Wenwen, the strongest woman in classic weightlifting. Throughout her career, Li has won 16 gold medals and only 3 silver ones. So, theoretically, it's easier to count the competitions she didn't win gold in than the ones she did. Li's current record is an impressive 412 pounds, which she lifted with remarkable ease. Just look at that. The barbell actually bends slightly while she lifts it, but she holds firm as if it were made of titanium. Simply incredible. Irene Anderson. Look, no matter how good your technique is, I don't think you'll ever beat Irene Anderson in an arm wrestling match. There's simply too much strength in those arms to even compete. So who is Irene Anderson? Well, she's none other than one of the most prominent figures in European bodybuilding today, and a top contender for the Mrs. Olympia competition. Just look at those muscles. Irene was born in Denmark, but throughout her career she's traveled all over Europe following the major competitions. At 53 years old, which you can't really tell from all those muscles, she has had a long sports career, starting training at 15, and in her youth in the 90s, she was a martial artist and kickboxer. But of course, bodybuilding became her passion in the 2000s, and she's maintained that passion to this day. Wow, that's a true superhero physique, don't you think? Isabella Ruiz Bayena. Women's bodybuilding is much more popular in the United States and Europe, but that doesn't mean there aren't truly extraordinary practitioners in Latin America. Continuing with that line of thought, let me introduce you to Isabella Ruiz Bayena, better known as the Amazon, who has become one of the most amazing representatives of fitness in Colombia and Latin America. She's originally from Medellin, although she now resides in Bogota. As you can see, her daily life is quite different from most people's, as she has to follow some of the most exhausting training regimens, to the point that even on her rest days, she has to do cardio. Her workouts are so calorically demanding that she needs to eat 6 meals a day, usually packed with protein. According to Isabella, the world of bodybuilding in Latin America is a bit tougher because the local culture doesn't always view this type of training in women positively. However, she has learned not only to live with it, but to love the differences she has from the rest of the world. Over time, she has even learned to appreciate the most challenging aspects of this lifestyle. Since 2023, Isabella has become one of the most notable contenders for the upcoming Miss Olympia competition, and we can't help but wish her the best. Ernestine Shepard. One of the most interesting things about the fitness world is that, although it might seem otherwise, there really is no age limit. As long as you do it at a suitable pace, even older people can enter this world, and this here is a perfect example. Meet Ernestine Shepard, the oldest bodybuilder in the world, who at 88 years old lifts considerable weights and is in better shape than you or I. Now, one might be tempted to think that Ernestine has been lifting weights and training all her life and just continued doing so into her 80s. But the truly surprising thing is that she had never touched a weight until she turned 71. So her entire career in bodybuilding has been as an older person. Her nickname in the bodybuilding world is Granny Six-Pack, and she has achieved a remarkable career, not only setting the Guinness World Record for the oldest bodybuilder, but also winning 3 of the 6 competitions she has entered. Ernestine trains more than 30 hours a week and runs about 10.5 miles with relative ease. According to her, she plans to keep training for the rest of her life and doesn't intend to stop until she's called from the beyond. I think after seeing this, no one has an excuse not to go to the gym. Yolanda Hughes. This is Yolanda Hughes, and in the 90s, she became a true legend in the bodybuilding world. In fact, she was the brightest figure in the discipline at her time. Although, strangely, her story begins in very different sports. You see, in her senior year of high school, Yolanda showed great skill in various track and field events, such as the 100 meters and the hurdles. She then leaned more towards gymnastics and dreamed of becoming an Olympic gymnast. For much of the 80s, Hughes tried to advance in this career, but for various personal reasons, gymnastics slipped through her fingers, and by the mid-80s, she discovered bodybuilding, a discipline in which she found significant success. Throughout the 90s, Yolanda focused on bodybuilding and won first place in 4 different competitions, which is quite an achievement in this world. In 1999, she retired from the sport, having already made an indelible mark in the discipline. Her story is a reminder that with effort and dedication, you can leave your mark on the world, even if it's not in the discipline you originally planned. Vladislava Galagan. In the world of bodybuilding, you'll find some of the most muscular and strong people, but it's also a world full of controversy, especially for women. Often, to develop muscles to the level required for competition, it's necessary to use hormones, and because of how these substances work, it's not uncommon for some typically female characteristics to be lost. However, some practitioners of this discipline, like Russian athlete Vladislava Galagan, have made an interesting change by maintaining a more feminine figure while not losing any muscle mass, setting new standards for female bodybuilding. This unusual blend of strength and beauty has allowed the athlete to remain in the bodybuilding world while also working as a supermodel. And of course, her figure staying so feminine is proof that the chemical aids she uses are minimal. Vladislava herself has admitted that, at least to some extent, she has used such substances, but always keeping them to a minimum and focusing on rigorous diets and exercise. It's a testament that if you work hard enough, you can make revolutionary changes in the things you love. And I don't know about you, but I think she's as beautiful as she is strong. Amanda Nunes. To knock someone out with a single punch requires strength, but to knock someone out just a couple of minutes into a fight, well, that takes exceptional skill and power, like that of Brazilian fighter Amanda Nunes, who achieved what could be one of the fastest knockouts in the history of women's mixed martial arts. It happened in 2018 when Nunes faced Cris Cyborg. Just a few minutes into the fight, she knocked out her opponent with a series of powerful punches, causing her to fall like a sack of sand. Nunes, at the peak of her career, was known for her tendency to win by spectacular knockouts. At her career's best, she was the first fighter to hold championships in 2 different weight classes simultaneously and was a 2-time UFC champion. She was active in the fight world from 2008 until 2023 when she retired from martial arts, but with knockouts like these in her career, that's more than enough. Jana Vaskova. It's not uncommon for weightlifters to boast that they can lift an adult person effortlessly. What's rare is when they actually live up to their claims. And believe me, when powerlifter Jana Vaskova from Slovakia says she can lift a person with ease, she truly means it. Just look at her, capable of lifting all kinds of people, even those taller than her, and she does it one after another without any trouble. Simply incredible. Besides dazzling people with displays of power like these, Jana has been crowned one of the greatest champions in the unusual sport of Maz wrestling, which translates roughly to full-body arm wrestling. This sport is similar to arm wrestling, but instead of using only your arm strength, you need to use your entire body's force and mass to pull your opponent and get them out of their corner. This means that to win in this sport, you need to exert double the force of a regular person. And look at that, Jana is even capable of tossing her competitor into the air. Colebeck. Strength can manifest in many different ways. It's not always about lifting heavy weights or knocking someone out with a punch. Trust me, you can't do what we're about to see without being incredibly strong and resilient. In this case, strength is combined with agility to create acrobatics. When it comes to acrobatic strength, Colebeck is undoubtedly the strongest woman in the world, as she holds the current record for the most backflips performed in just 30 seconds using a trampoline. Yes, you heard that right. If you're prone to dizziness, you might want to look away. Just watch all those flips, and she does them so quickly you can barely keep up. Keep in mind that each of these flips requires significant physical endurance since strength is needed in both the legs and arms. The previous record was 25 flips, but Lucy shattered it with a total of 36 flips. She certainly made it hard for anyone to break her record. While this is a remarkable feat, for Lucy, it's more common than you might think, as her main job is to be one of the star acrobats at Cirque du Soleil. Performing such feats is part of her daily routine, so much so that on her personal YouTube channel, Lucy challenges herself to achieve great feats, like recreating gymnastics techniques that are now banned in competitions or training for new types of acrobatics like hoop diving. Amazing, right? Tamara Walcott, 1,625 pounds. That's roughly the weight of a young rhinoceros. And it was the combined weight that Tamara Walcott had to lift to be crowned the world's strongest woman according to the Guinness World Records. And the feat was incredible for 3 reasons, as Walcott broke 3 records consecutively to achieve it. You see, the record was divided into 3 different weightlifting modalities, which, as you can imagine, require different techniques and skills, and of course strength in different muscle groups to accomplish. The challenge began with an impressive squat lift of 600 pounds, followed almost immediately by a bench press of 380 pounds, and finally the most difficult, a deadlift of 640 pounds. That last lift had to be done twice because she was disqualified for improper posture the first time. Fortunately, the second attempt was successful, and Tamara set the record for cumulative weightlifting. In other words, achieving a remarkable weightlifting feat is one thing, but doing 3, that's truly out of this world. Donna Jean Wilde. Have you ever done a plank exercise? Let me tell you, a plank is one of those exercises so demanding on the body that a single minute in the plank position feels like an hour of torment. So anyone who holds the world record for this exercise is automatically one of the strongest people in the world. And in the female category, that record belongs to Canadian Donna Jean Wilde. The record to beat was 4 hours and 19 minutes, which might seem modest compared to other records. But believe me, that time is an eternity while holding a plank. What's truly interesting about this record is that Donna didn't actually have a career as an athlete. Before retiring, she worked as a school principal, so she had little connection to the world of strength sports. Sure, she exercised, but nothing beyond the norm. This changed due to an injury that prevented her from exercising for a while, but she could still do planks during her recovery, and she came to love the exercise, deciding to push it to the extreme. In the end, Donna managed to hold the plank for an incredible 4 hours, 30 minutes, and 11 seconds. That's true strength. Kathleen Krauss. How strong do you think you need to be to bend a frying pan as if it were a newspaper? Well, some say it's more about technique than strength, but it still requires firm hands and a lot of arm strength, like that of German strongwoman Kathleen Krauss, who proudly holds one of the most unusual world strength records, the most frying pans bent in less than a minute. Yes, you heard that right. The record was broken in 2020 on an official Guinness World Records show in China. Kathleen faced several frying pans one after another in a row and crumpled them as if they were paper. In the end, she bent a total of 8 pans, although one had to be deducted since she finished bending it after the minute mark, leaving her record at 7, which is still quite impressive. Holly Holm. We all love those stories where a young fighter, who seemingly comes from nowhere, rises to defeat the biggest champions despite being a rookie. And that's exactly what happened with fighter Holly Holm. Born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as the daughter of a preacher, Holly grew up on a farm and graduated from high school with relative ease. From a young age, Holly was passionate about sports and tried everything from soccer to gymnastics and even swimming, but only found success when she was introduced to kickboxing through an aerobics class and later transitioned to boxing. Her real breakthrough came when she entered the world of mixed martial arts, MMA. Although Holly was skilled in fighting by then, she was a novice in MMA. Yet, in a historic fight, Holly Holm, the newcomer, managed to knock out then-champion Ronda Rousey in a truly spectacular bout. Maria Wattel. All bodybuilders stand out in a crowd due to their incredible muscles. But with bodybuilder Maria Wattel from the Netherlands, the effect is even more pronounced. Not only is she a bodybuilding champion, but she also holds the world record for being the tallest professional bodybuilder, standing at a colossal 6 feet, making her look like a giant among competitors. According to Maria, her height always caused problems during her childhood, making her stand out among others. However, these issues eventually led her to the world of sports and fitness, where her incredible height began to work in her favor. Many experts believe that her great height allows extra muscle to adapt better to her body type, giving her a more natural appearance. Erin Murray. What do the training routines of a bodybuilder look like? For most, these routines are quite personal and often kept as a well-guarded secret. However, some bodybuilders and athletes like Erin Murray offer an intriguing behind-the-scenes look at how those muscles are built. Erin has created an entire YouTube channel dedicated to her training methods and the secrets of bodybuilding that you need to know if you want to enter this world. Achieving a physique like hers requires a 100% commitment in almost every area of life. Diet, medical appointments, free time, all of it is affected if you want to go professional. But the results are certainly impressive, as Erin can lift more than 440 pounds, which is not something everyone can boast about. Lucy Underdown. Breaking a world record in weightlifting is one thing many of the remarkable women we've seen so far have achieved that. But what about breaking a record twice in the same day? That's exactly what weightlifter Lucy Underdown did at the Giants weightlifting competition in England. During the deadlift competition, Lucy set a world record by lifting an incredible 672.4 pounds. But since she was only on her second attempt, she decided to go all in and, on her third attempt, lifted 701.1 pounds, breaking the record she had set just minutes earlier. What talent and strength, seriously impressive. Ronda Rousey. One of the most entertaining and somewhat brutal aspects of mixed martial arts is the various ways to defeat opponents. You can knock them out or cause so much damage that they have no choice but to submit. Perhaps one of the most dramatic ways to win in this sport is through submissions, where you apply a painful hold that forces your opponent to tap out. And the queen of such victories is fighter Ronda Rousey, who won many of her most important fights with some of the most ruthless submissions imaginable, especially the infamous armbar, which threatens to dislocate an opponent's arm. Her submission skills were so exceptional that she became the first American to win a bronze medal in judo at the Beijing Olympics. By the 2010s, Ronda had established herself as the ultimate champion in mixed martial arts. But like many of her contemporaries, she retired in 2023. Now it's your turn. Which of these women do you think is the strongest? Share your thoughts in the comments. Here are two options that you'll surely love.